All right, everyone. Episode 232 of the 580 show. This week, I'm joined by professional strongman, podium at Worlds, gym owner, strongman coach, Derek Owens. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man? I forget I'm pro.
Yeah.
I forget about that.
Yeah. It's just such a new thing in strongman, too, and it doesn't really mean anything, you know?
Yeah,
Like, it means something, but,
sure. Yeah,
but yeah, so it's funny because we're basically doing the exact same thing and we're coming to each other's events within like 6 days of each other. And the North Texas Strength Expo is like your baby to my knowledge. And I'm coming down. So I thought it'd be a cool conversation to talk about it and talk about some other things too. But yeah, you're,
yeah. It's pretty rare. You rarely ever find two promoters doing each other's shows while you're each doing very similar shows, vice versa. So
well, yeah, it's like exactly the same thing because the only difference is your regionals is on Saturday and then ASM's on Sunday and mine's all on
yeah,
Monday. But literally 6 days prior, a week prior, you're doing Southwest regionals,
hmm
and I'm running the Northeast regionals, and then you're running 80 and 64 ASM, and I'm running
yeah.
90 and 82.
That's
So
hilarious.
yeah, so it's kind of cool. But this is what the second year of the North Texas Strength Expo.
This is the third.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is actually the third. And it's been growing exponentially. Wait, is it? I think it's the third. I'd have to ask
Okay.
my wife. She would
Yeah.
know. Because we've done, gosh, yeah, I think so. Honey, is this the third year? Yes. She says yes.
You sound like
Like,
me too, asking my wife questions.
I can't even remember because we've done, me and my wife have been promoting shows for going on 6 years now. So I
Yeah,
keep forgetting
same
them.
here,
Yeah,
man.
this is our third year of the expo itself, though, North Texas Strength Expo. And yeah, it's definitely my baby. Definitely a something I plan on growing for the next 10, 20, 30 years, and something I'm really hoping turns into something really big here in North Texas.
That's awesome, man. Because that's what like I find like I was telling you offline, but finally got an arena. So I'm trying to like over the years like start with strongman this year and then add events and everything like that and kind of make it an expo. So
Yeah,
we're
we got really lucky this year. A lot of people, some people know about it. They're coming up. Grid League. We've partnered up with
oh
Grid
yeah.
League this year, and so this will be our first year with Grid League. Really excited to see how it turns out. Really excited to see the people that show up. Of course, the spectators, and getting just a really high energy sport involved though, because we've had powerlifting for years now. Last year we had Highland Games. Looking to actually bring back Highland Games back next year, but powerlifting, strongman, it can be kind of boring sometimes. And with sports like CrossFit and Grid League, it's for the most part, it's pretty action packed. They'll do
Yeah.
stuff for minutes at a time. Meanwhile, our attempts are 30 to 60 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really, really interesting to see how the chemistry and how the energy really boils over this year. Really excited.
Yeah. The grid league stuff is like really taken off. I think they do a good job with like social media and stuff too, but they've had a crossover with like different sports. They brought in strongmen, they brought in people in powerlifting and like
Yeah,
there's it's a unique thing because it's like a crazy team sport where they can like send a heavy lifter out to do like this
yeah.
one event. It's like it seems like it's really growing. So that would be cool
Yeah.
to see it in person.
So for whoever's listening doesn't know, Grid League is basically they take CrossFit and they take concepts of football and also gymnastics and also tumbling, and they
Mm,
add it all together. There's back
yeah.
flips, there's cleans, there's muscle ups, and then the idea, I don't know if you know this, but they're working down the grid like a football field,
Yeah.
trying to work all the way down, and the first one to the end teams of it wins, and then they build their teams like you mentioned. They have different teams. Some people in the team are just really static, really big people, and they have other lighter people that do flips or they do jumps and things of the such though. But so it's really cool to see the energy. It's a really good sport because you don't have to know what's going on to be entertained. You
Yeah.
can start watching, you're like, oh dude, this woman's doing a backflip, and then somebody else is doing some cleans. And
Yeah.
it's really fun to watch though. So
Yeah, I just saw them doing like a strongman-ish event where they were doing like working down the grid and you had to throw, you'd be good at this one. You have to throw a sandbag,
Yeah.
like a throw bag, and then
Yeah,
go get it
yeah.
and like make your way down the ladder.
So cool. Yeah, they
I,
do things, a lot of strong. I've been noticing this too about strongman is not, but not about strongman necessarily, but about other sports.
I was just
CrossFit.
gonna say,
CrossFit has yoke. CrossFit has Husafels. CrossFit has log now. And
yep.
so we're definitely spilling over into a lot of other sports right now. So it's
Yeah, it's funny because CrossFit, whoever runs CrossFit now, like the new team has like over the last like probably 5 years, like even with like Rogue running their own CrossFit events, like the Rogue
Mhm.
Invitational and stuff, they love working in strongman stuff. They've had like a
Yeah.
Husafell bag.
Yep.
They had an axle that they had to do lunges with. Um,
If I'm not
so like
mistaken, they just did power stairs too.
yeah, they did a power stair. They did
So cool.
yeah. So it's cool for our little sport, like as much
Yeah.
as we, live in our own little
Our little
world.
sport's growing, man. It's
It
growing.
is.
I think people like us, though, and it's a good segue, but people like us are helping really push the sport to be a little bit more professional.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know about you, but I definitely run my competitions very strict compared to a lot of other promoters, and
for
I've
sure.
gotten a lot of backlash over the years because I have some rules that aren't so old school strong manny of myself, though. But I'd like to see the this little sport turn into something bigger and keep growing,
For
and
sure.
obviously something's working because if other sports are getting bored with their stuff and taking some of our events, though, it says a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like our sport is about as like functional as it can
Mhm.
get in a strength sport. You know what I mean? Like we're picking up rocks and shit and like that transfers over to everyday lifting. So yeah,
Mhm.
man, I'm the same way with my shows. Like I'm a state chair and sometimes I go to these like smaller shows and not knocking them. I love them. But like sometimes like the judging and like stuff, I'm like,
Sure.
damn, dude, if this kid like goes to like nationals or something, he's gonna be really pissed off because like he's gonna have to hold his overhead at lockout and stuff like that.
Absolutely right.
So yeah, I always ask like when I run a show because you said like 6 years of promoting. That's the same exact. I'm on my 6th year of running shows,
Mhm.
and I always ask in the rules meeting if it's your first show to put your hand up because I always remember my first show and if it didn't go well, like it was an awesome show. Paul Mauser ran it. I'm like, I wonder if I would even have done it or started promoting if like my first time competing wasn't cool. So
Yeah.
like when I run a show, I always take it like personal to like I want
That's
that
cool.
person to keep doing strongman. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you can get 5 people every show to continue to do it that are new, think about how
Yeah.
much like strongman grows in your area and just
Yeah, and
around.
that's it's funny you mentioned that, like first people starting off, and that's kind of really where I do a lot of focus. I love working with people. I'm a coach too, and I love working with people that are just coming onto the sport, whether they've never lifted before or they're coming from another sport. I believe the sport's going to grow from the bottom, and a lot of other promoters want to do those high end shows, or they're just focused on the pros. And in my opinion, that's not where the sport's going to grow. It's going to be how can we create that initial interaction, that core memory that's going to just cling people onto the sport, and
Yep.
really, because that's exactly the same with my first time ever competing, dude. It was just like poof, just
Yep.
like I was like, are you serious? Like this is, I competed 5 times my very first year because
Yeah.
I wanted
So
to. I just
you
wanted
get
to.
bit by the iron bug and it's like, dude,
Yeah,
this is
dude.
so cool. So what was your background before strongman? Were you powerlifting? Were you doing it?
No, so I was doing bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I was like 175 pounds, doing some bodybuilding. And when I say bodybuilding, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hurting
Hmm.
myself all the time.
Yeah. Just
I
like
was,
to
I
train
was,
too. I mean, I'm sure like, going and lift weights and feel good and
yeah, I
whatnot.
was lifting, but I was also trying to diet. Like I'm about to compete in a show in 2 weeks. So like I wasn't progressing at all. Like I was doing everything counterintuitive. I was lifting heavy like somebody who was eating more, but I was eating like somebody that wanted it. Anyways,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so, but I had another background. I was very I skateboarded a lot and I did a lot of BMXing and stuff. And I actually owe that to why I think I excel at what I do in the sport now. I'm very explosive. Very, very explosive. And if anybody's ever skateboarded before, it's exactly what that is. You kind of squat down and you explode up into a trick or something like that, though.
Yeah.
So that if I don't know if that necessarily answers your question, but my background that carries over the most,
Yeah.
skating, mexing,
Did you play
weird.
any other sports?
Man, I played soccer when I was really young. I played pee wee football for a year, broke my back. Broke my
Yeah.
back when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
But no, none of that. I actually, yeah, I was really pretty unathletic up until I was 22 or so. I got into substance abuse, did some boozing too hard, little
Yeah.
loathing. Just didn't take care of my body for a really, really long time. And yeah, up in my until I was about 22, I started working out for the first time. Did bodybuilding for a while. Then I went in and found my first strongman gym in 2016. So I'm rolling up almost 10 years now, doing
Wow.
strong right now though. But
Isn't that crazy to think
I
about?
never turned back after that. My first compete, I've just always been full blown strongman, just all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, like Derek's talking about himself being like explosive. He has one of like the coolest, if you've never seen, what was that, OSG, what, 24? Or wait,
23.
23. Yeah. In Charleston, right? In West
Yeah, I
Virginia.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah. So Derek like basically found out like
yeah.
less than an hour before that he would be competing in the finals, which
Dude,
if you don't.
no, 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 like 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard the story multiple times. I was driving home because I missed the finals by 2 spots. So I was driving home and I'm watching OSG. I'm like, shit, I didn't think Derek was in the finals. And then you're like, so, whatever. But so he makes it like you said, like 20 minutes and he's throwing the sandbags and in cowboy boots, jeans, and wins the event. And I think you won or got top, like very top in another event too, right?
I won the last two events. I won
Yeah.
the last two. Those are my two best events.
So
Sandbag throws and stones.
yeah, so he makes it into the finals with 20 minutes, and then he works his way all the way on the podium.
Yeah, yeah,
So goes like from 10th, 11th up to the podium at World. So
yeah.
his sandbag run, if you watch it, it explains like his explosiveness
I
because
really
he's
like
one of the
throwing stuff.
yeah,
Very
he's one of
explosive.
the best throwers, honestly, in the world.
Yeah,
Like,
I definitely pride myself on that. Though I could throw any child and over the any
almost an adult.
small child. Their ass is grass.
Yeah. So, um, how'd you come about the idea of the North Texas Strength Expo? Like,
So I've been like I mentioned, I've been promoting for some years now, and I've had the opportunities, which I'm very thankful for, of being able to be the strongman portion of some other expos, always bodybuilding, right? And all the big expos across the world, they're always headlining by bodybuilding, right? They're bodybuilding this. Then you got your other little small niche sports. And I got something wrong with me, and it could be a fault to a certain extent. But every time I see somebody do something and I think it could be done better, I'm like, I think I could do a better job. So, anyways, and that's basically how it is. And I saw these expos, and I love strength. I love strength so much, and all strength sports from powerlifting, strongman, and Highland Games. I love them, and I want to be able to make them grow. And I'm the type of person that I'll put my money where my mouth is. You know what I mean? And if I want to see something happen, I'll do it myself. So, and that's kind of how it happened. I've always gone to expos and when you have that all of being in a big place with all these people and all this excitement and stuff, and like I want to do it, and that's kind of simply how it is. And I competed. I had the opportunity to not only promote shows at expos, but I've competed in a lot of expos in these strongman competitions, and that's also another reason why I kind of got into it in the first place. There's some people I looked up to, Jacob Fincher, Tommy Sharp. There's Brittany. There's some other promoters when I first started that were doing exactly what I'm doing now, and there were people I was like, wow, I want to be them. I want to do that. I want to grow the sport though. So the North Texas Strength Expo is basically almost a decade of me just trying to pour it into it and grow something. And all my shows are now leading to this. And now I'm bringing on other sports, helping other promoters, giving them opportunities to grow their sport and make money and not charge them either whatsoever. And just kind of grow it and pump life into it and bring more excitement and build this community. It's basically what it is.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like promoting's hard. Like it's hard, I mean, and I think that's a major reason why you don't like you'll see like a lot of strongman comps come up and they're the whatever classic and the whatever and then they're a one and done show. And I
Mhm.
think that's because promoting's hard and you genuinely have to love it because
Yeah.
it's you have to have a good team around you and you have to love doing it. So it's cool to
Um,
see now that I've been in strongman, going on almost 8 years, whatever. And it's like it's cool to see the promoters around the country that are like doing it like you. And I think we can all learn from each other. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely, man. And I've made so many mistakes, and I think that's what's given me the knowledge I have today, and why I do think I'm good at what I've done is because I have made so many mistakes. But again, like you mentioned, you see so many promoters come and go sometimes, and I'm able to learn from my mistakes almost instantly. While almost in the moment, I'm like, wow, I really shouldn't have done that. And
yep.
I promise you, that'll probably never happen again with my name on it. So
Yeah. No, I'm same way.
yeah,
Same.
yeah. And trust me, I've made tons of mistakes, and it does feel good to be able to have the opportunities I've been given to hold competitions at this level and be able to pull the money together to make it really happen and stuff and not go broke either. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
always a
that's
plus.
what's most important.
Yeah.
And that's the real name of the game right now with this expo is one day I do hope to sit back and make some good money off of this. But right now the name of the game is let's not go broke, but let's grow it at the same time. And I've had a really good team over the years, especially this year. We have a huge team we've built up, got a lot of support. Really, really excited for this year's expo, dude.
Yeah.
Hired a lot of people on to make sure, and we're already planning for next year too.
That's
Already.
awesome.
So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like I've just seen from being, I'm going to be at the expo, like, it seems like there's a lot of shit going on. Like, and one cool thing for the strongman I saw you brought on was the kids, like Gummy
Yeah,
Bears spot. That dude, that's awesome. I've
yeah,
been
yeah. No,
to a show that's had that before, and dude, it's
Mhm.
so cool.
And another thing, and what's kind of funny is back when I was younger, I used to super random. My dad never did strongman. It's for the time it was random. Looking back now, it was like it was meant to be. But my dad, ESPN2 would come on and there'd be strongman reruns. My dad would always come up to me like, "Hey, Derek, strongman's on. You want to come watch it?" And dude, we'd
That's
sit
cool.
there, both sitting in complete silence, just in complete awe, have no idea what we're looking at and stuff. But to go with the kids competition and stuff, and that's another thing I was talking about is they're doing it now, and I want to grow the sport, and who knows, 10, 20 years from now we may have some really great athletes or really great promoters or some other kids that grow up and they remember that one little kids competition they did when they were younger, and
Yeah,
they caught that bug real early though. So that's kind of where we're getting from, and we're just really excited too because we know a lot of people who compete have kids.
that's what I was
And
gonna say next.
yeah, so
Like,
it's really cool to see a lot of people that are doing regionals and ASM and they're bringing their kids along.
yep. Well, that's the big thing too, like strongman, it's a hobby. The where it's at right now, like for 99.9% of people, it's a hobby.
Sure.
So, you make a trip out of it. Oh, I'm gonna do Derek's show in Dallas, 4 hours away. We're gonna stay for 4 or 5 days. But
Mhm.
when we're at the expo, there's gonna be things for our little kid to do. They're
Yeah.
gonna be, so it's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
again, another thing we're really excited to have that on, and we're going to be doing it next year and the next, and really, really looking to really grow that side of it too, and just let kids be kids, and that's really what it is. Is strongman, strongman. I think what is so attractive for people our age is you really feel like a kid sometimes, no matter how
A
serious
hundred
I'm taking.
percent.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's some people that take it way too serious, and at the end of the day, we just like picking up weird stuff. We
Yep.
like feeling like when you're a kid, you just randomly want to go race somebody because you just want to beat him or something. And
Right.
that's what it is. It's really hitting in that kid code or what it feels like to be a kid. But we're adults now. We lift some heavy weight and
Yeah. Well, it just like provides a purpose still, like so many people get done with playing sports their whole life and
yeah,
they want to just do something and have fun doing it. And
sure.
it's like, I mean, that's kind of why I loved it. It's like I can go have fun, make some friends and
Hmm.
compete in something, it's
Yeah.
we are like grown babies. I like putting it that way,
Yeah,
like
no,
kids.
totally, dude. Oh, yeah,
Awesome.
man. When I did, I love pick. I could if I found a rock around, I'm gonna try and pick it up. Now look what I'm doing. I'm just picking up bigger rocks. Nothing's
Honestly.
changed about me. It just got less hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else? Like, so you mentioned powerlifting, grid league, obviously the kids competition, along with all the strongman throughout the weekend. Is there anything else you're really excited for at the expo?
Just recently, Sunday, we're gonna have a mechanical bull.
Oh, I saw you post that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have a little mechanical bull, have some fun. If you haven't noticed by the theme, it's very Texas coded
Yeah.
and stuff. So want to have a bull out there, have some fun again, making some more memories and some cool experiences. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. I am excited about the bull.
That's awesome.
That'll
Yeah,
be
you gotta
the
make it
type.
feel like that Texas. I
Yeah,
mean,
why
like,
not?
yeah. Like I when
That's
I
the tiebreaker too.
Oh, there we go.
Who can last 30 seconds on the old bull
For an
wins.
Arnold bid, like
Yeah, there you
kind of
go.
mechanical bull. That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's cool. And then will there be like it's an expo, so will there be like booths there and stuff too? Like
Oh yeah,
companies.
dude, we're loaded. Again, we're so lucky. We've had a huge outpour of vendors and literally going through emails all the time. People want to be a part of it and stuff. But we got a lot of vendors, different types of businesses, a lot of fitness related businesses, a lot of mom and pop, a lot of local businesses. So we're really lucky to have them a part of the expo. Again, the expo really wouldn't happen without these vendors too. And so them helping us to help them, give them a platform, more exposure and stuff is what really matters too, though. But
That's
yeah,
yeah.
we'll have vendors. Gosh, Legendary Pop Tarts is one of our other cool
Oh,
ones.
that's cool.
Oh yeah, dude, we gotta, man, I gotta actually pull it up right here. Waited Out's a part of it too. Of
Oh,
course, my objects. Good buddy of mine, Tommy.
yeah,
Always,
yeah.
always love working with him though. But really, really excited to have all these vendors out and make it feel like that high energy and stuff. And like I mentioned, we're already planning for next year. We're gonna try to find a bigger venue. We
Oh,
got some,
really? Wow.
we got some
That's
big
cool.
news to announce for next year already. Actually,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot bigger.
That's cool. That's cool. I was hoping Tommy was gonna do ASM because he's a
I
headline sponsor. I
know.
want to compete with him because I've never
Everybody
gotten to
does, dude.
I know I've never the year I did OSG, he wasn't there. He was there,
No.
like I talked to him and stuff, but
Maybe
like
you're scaring them off, dude.
yeah,
Maybe you need to
I
go.
don't know,
He'll come
man.
back
But he's
in.
gonna be there, right?
Oh yeah, he'll be there. Yeah,
He needs to hop
Mr.
into
80
ASM on
himself.
Sunday. He needs to hop into ASM if he hears
I
this.
know.
Um, but yeah, man, that's awesome. That's definitely like goals for us up here, like a big expo and uh I think if you look at it like just strongman too, it makes it cooler for the strongman athletes because they have more random people there that might be watching them. It gives them that feel of like, oh shit, like I'm an athlete here. Even if it's someone's first regionals,
Sure.
and they're stepping outside their comfort zone a little bit. It's like, man, this is like cool as shit. Like over
Mhm.
100 athletes competing with me. There's boosts here. There's
Yeah, yeah.
all,
And
it's
that's
cool.
exactly what we're going for. I really want that energy. I want to give weight class, and that's what working with too. Tom, speaking of Tommy, he feels the exact same way, but being able to treat weight class athletes like they're the people on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
So treating them with the respect and at the end of the day, we're all the same. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we're athletes like us. We're at the very high end of what we're physically capable of doing. Just because we're not 6'8", weigh 400
Right.
pounds, it's
Right.
just a different game though. So I think it's definitely possible. And at the end of the day, growing this sport is showing people that there are people like us too. So, like you said, having people out there and stuff is what's really going to grow it. Seeing that energy and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how that weekend goes. Actually, having all the people in regional Saturday, and then hopefully having just as many people out there for ASM, ASW on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Well, yeah, dude, it's cool. It's like you said too, like we couldn't control not being 6'8", and like being like a Stoltman or something, but they're still like that's what I think's so cool. Like if someone's there at your
Mhm.
expo, they're like, oh shit, I thought this was just for big guys, and then they
Yeah,
see, oh, ASM, these guys are 80 kilo guys, like I can do that. Like that's
yeah,
around the size of a like 80, 90. That's the average size of a person.
yeah,
So they're like, oh, that's relatable. That
yeah,
guy that's the same weight as me just deadlifted 700 pounds. Like, that's crazy.
for
It's like,
sure.
it's more like comparable to them. It's
And I don't know about you, but when I first started the sport, I didn't know people like me existed. It's
right,
only we used to
100%.
on TV. Yeah. So, and at the end of the day, a lot of people forget and they look up to these Stoltmans, these Shaws, and they think that's the end goal. And the reality of it is they're the less than 1% of the sport.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great figures. They are some of the strongest humans to ever live.
Yeah, they're
But
awesome to
at the
watch.
end of the day, what makes this sport grow and what funds this entire sport is the 99.99%. It's the average height human beings. It's the
Yep.
80, 90 kilogram men. And
Yeah.
so just kind of showing people that's the actual reality of it. And there's a big shift happening right now. This sport's the biggest it's ever been, without a doubt. And ever since I've been in it, it's just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, it's cool now because I mean this is really new, but we have the ASMs for all the other classes.
Yeah,
Even just when we were in our first 5, 6, 7 years in the sport,
nothing.
it was 105s and super heavyweights for
Hmm.
ASM. It was only nationals and the Arnold really for weight classes,
Hmm.
and that was it. It's like shit. If you're busy that weekend and you qualified, you
Yeah,
gotta wait till next year. So I really love what James is doing and like putting his money up and giving promoters like me and you a chance to kind of like take the lead on it
sure.
with ASM, and I think that's the next step for weight class athletes, like having these opportunities and you're competing for real money.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, 10 grand for ASM classes. I mean,
yeah,
that's a
there's no one else
crazy
paying that much
sum.
money right now.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And honestly, we're not like that's like Strongman Corporation being like generous, like
Yeah,
hopefully in 5 years, like ASM's crazy for our class, but right now it's not like, like there's 100 people signed up and
mhm.
entry's free. Like
Yeah,
I did
just got
ASM
qualified.
80s last year, and like it was like you were saying, like giving those athletes the experience and like feeling a pro, like that's how I felt. Like got paid
Mhm.
out, I think, before I even got home from the show.
Mhm.
Um, no entry fees. You
Yeah,
get two t-shirts, name on the back. Like
it's cool, man. James is
Owens,
doing a
that's
lot
the
of
other thing is
amazing.
the pictures and stuff
It,
too that you guys do. I want to talk about that too, but go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. What that a lot of people don't see either is me and you may know a lot more than the average person does, though, man. But James is doing so much behind the scenes right now to help grow the sport, and I feel like we're in this very I guess shaky is the best term, but nothing. It's really this is kind of the beginning, in my opinion. I can't wait to see what all the ASMs look like in
Yep.
5 years,
That
and I feel like they're going to be
100%.
huge. I feel like they're going to be massive, and they're going to argue and be just as big as OSG or the Arnold or things like that. They're going to be the competitions people want to do though,
For
and that's
sure.
the thing, a lot of people just don't know about them still. They don't
Yeah.
know how serious they are though, and
Yeah.
it takes people like us kind of showing everybody how freaking cool they are.
Yeah, I mean, I've just DM'd guys like last year. I got 4 guys to sign up for 80s ASM because I was like, hey man, you're qualified.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, I didn't know that. But it's like, yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I told people like I'm really excited to see James in like 3 to 5 years what he does with Strongman
Yeah.
Corporation because I mean you buy this big ass business and it's like I can only imagine like you run a business as well
Yeah.
just the shit like that you
I've seen
inherit.
glimpses of what James has to go through, and it's
Yeah. I mean, dude, you see it as a promoter just on a very like the questions you get. And I mean,
oh,
I love answering questions. Some are crazy. People ask me like what the weather's going to be like and
oh my God.
I'm like, I don't know, but like I can only imagine the complaints and like the day-to-day just messages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really excited for like a couple years under his belt of like taking it over because it's literally been a year.
It just in the past year, the legitimacy and is just grown exponentially right now. I've
It's
already seen a huge shift
yeah,
already, and I'm really excited to see some of the kinks getting worked out too. And anyways, I can't
yeah,
stand. I'm biased though, but I
yeah,
know I see a little bit more than people see, and if anyone's really they're unsure, just wait, just be
yeah,
patient.
for sure.
This sport's really about to take off for the weight class.
Yeah, I think Strongman Corp is going in such a good direction where it's like a sustain. I see it as a sustainable business,
Can't
and that's a
perfect
big
word.
thing. You know what
Perfect.
I mean? There's
Yeah.
some things that I look at and I'm like, I just don't understand how that will last.
And they don't.
Whatever. So, and they never do. And like, and I love the professionalism that James has been taking. Like, having you and your wife Shelly at shows. Like, you guys were at 80s ASM, and you guys have been fuck. I mean, how many places have you taken photos at like big shows now? I mean, like the
Yeah.
Arnold, you know, and like that stuff is the stuff that starts to compound and like really add up and like be cool.
And
Just
that
like
was the biggest reason we honestly started doing it was to add a little bit more professionalism to the sport and stuff. And it's another one of those things. I don't know if I'm obsessive or control freak or something like that, but it was another one of those things where I was like, wow. I think I can do this. I think I can do it better than what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Because you've been in the sport long enough where you've seen photographers come and go. You've seen the inconsistencies in work. Some
Yep.
shows have good photographers, some have bad photographers. And I literally picked up a camera to, I first started off to do it to help out my gym. I was trying to hiring people to do content for my gym. I was like, man, let me figure this out myself.
Yeah.
Got decent at it. And I was like, hey, let me start doing shows to pay off this expensive camera equipment. And then it went into like, wow, this is actually like really helping the sport grow. Now we have solid content, high, huge megapixel images. Like these are very great dynamic shots, and we're able to show the people what the sport's really like, not JPEG photos or
Yeah.
some crappy downloaded thing. And in my and it's a real reflection. And the thing is, too, sponsors don't want to be a part of shows, even if they have bad pictures.
It's, I mean, and I'll be honest, like I've used more pictures from you guys in one show for like my coaching business and like the gym and stuff because they're like legit pictures. I mean, just having
Yeah,
like a, it sounds silly, but having like a good professional headshot like
goes
goes
a
a
long
long.
way. Goes
It's
a long way,
crazy. Like,
man.
so
Yeah.
it's cool, man. I love it. You guys are doing, I mean, a lot, you know, so
Thank you,
it's
thank you,
cool.
thank you.
Yeah.
We are trying very hard to grow the sport in different ways, and it's really cool to see. And again, it's I don't want anyone to think it's just like me growing the sport.
No, no.
And I just feel like I'm doing what I can with what I can, and and I think we're all guilty of it at some point in our life with different things where we want to see change so bad, but like we just want to see change. How long are you going to whine about something until you like do it yourself? And that goes along the
100%.
lines. We know who these people are on the internet and stuff, where they just complain and they complain and they complain, and
Yep.
they just want things. They want more money. They want better comps. They want all these things. And first off, like ask yourself, like, what have you done for the sport? You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool. Like, I get it. You registered for a competition. You spent some money on an entry fee. But like,
Sure.
what have you done for a competition besides complain? Is
Yeah.
if you're
It's
complaining?
always, what's funny is though too, and not, sorry to cut you off, but like
No, no, you're
it's
fine.
funny because the people that always complain have never promoted a show, have
Oh,
never, and I don't even say like, okay, not everyone has to promote a show. Like there's so many
you have
opportunities to
to.
compete now, but you're complaining, but how many shows have you volunteered at? Like, have
Yeah.
you gone down to your local show? If you're now like a world's competitor or, you know, a nationals level competitor, do you go to your local show and just say, hey, man, I'll help out for the six
Yeah,
hours?
if you've never, and that's the thing, like mentioned, that, like I get complaining, but there's only so much complaining you can do if you've never volunteered at a show, if you've never promoted a show, if you've never sponsored a show. Like
Yep.
there's only so much your mouth can run before, like, I just don't care what you have to say anymore. But
Yeah.
if you're complaining and you're a promoter, or you are a veteran athlete, or you volunteered at every single show, then probably what you have to say has a lot more
Yeah.
viability. Like,
Has more weight to it. I mean,
sure, absolutely.
like,
And we see it all the time. We just see people running their mouth and stuff. And I don't want to turn this podcast into me
no, no.
bitching about them, but it's true out there. And if you're listening, and you're like, wow, that might be me. It probably is you. Just do a little bit more. Maybe just shut up, or I hate seeing it. Every day I get on the internet and I see somebody just complaining because nothing's perfect. And dude, we're in a little tiny small sport where it's not making as much money as you think it is. And there are people out there trying. And don't get me wrong, some people are jaded by bad promoters and bad athletes.
Yep.
And it does happen though. But there's some really good people out there that are trying really, really hard. And
Yeah.
again, if your complaining outweighs the as much joy or how much effort you've put into it, you should probably pack it up.
Yeah, no, 100%. I tell people, I literally think I talked about that last week with Alex Soka, but I, it blows my mind that people hate doing strongman but continue to do it. I'm like, dude, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely still love
You're
it
so
as much
young.
as
Go
I
do something
ever.
else.
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine spending so much time and effort on something I don't like.
Yeah. And
And
the people I'm talking about on the internet too, where the only time they talk about strongman is to complain about strongman or somebody in strongman. And
yeah,
like, dude, why aren't you having some really? I don't see you posting about your local state rep putting on a great show, or I don't
yep,
see you posting about how great of a job these new amateurs are coming up and stuff like that, though. And that says more about you than it does the sport.
yeah,
And then these group of friends, they get into an echo chamber where
yep,
one complains and they complain to each other, and it just amplifies and they just go back and forth. You know who I'm talking about.
yeah.
We know these
Oh,
people.
dude, that's funny. It's like you just have people that pop into your head. It's just as a promoter, you understand more than anyone, and I know I do too. I just don't think people that have never run a show or like they just don't understand how much is simply volunteering goes for the promoter. I mean, it can be the difference of a show going 5 hours to 8 hours. Like
Sure.
our competitions are. I can't speak enough about how much I appreciate like our volunteer team and
Yeah.
staff and stuff. Because you think about it, it's so silly. Like these people are giving up their weekends just to come
Hmm.
help us do our hobby. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like and they're getting literally nothing out of it
Yeah.
except sword. Like
And I
sword is
don't see any of them going home and complaining on their stories.
no, no. So yeah, it honestly, that's like the biggest advice I have for someone is like if you can help out like at your local level and it's gonna be
Yeah,
worth
do
the
it.
sport of
Do it.
time.
Do it for the
Yeah.
athletes, and because if you've ever competed, somebody's done it for you. And what I love seeing is people who love volunteering that don't even compete. You have those people do
It's
it too.
crazy.
It's
It's
awesome, man.
crazy.
It's cool.
That's
And
it's really
it's
cool.
just perspective. So if you're at your next show and you see somebody volunteering, you're like, wow, I don't even think they compete, but they're in it, they're passionate, and they just love helping. And
Yeah.
it makes all the difference too. So
Yeah. Go up and thank your volunteers at your show. Like
yeah.
it starts once you volunteer at a show or you run a
Mhm.
show, you will always thank your volunteers because you realize you're doing typically 5 events and
No.
like they're resetting every single implement for every single competitor for all 5 events. So you're doing
Yeah.
it 5 times, they're doing it hundreds of
Yeah,
times.
we
You know
we
what I
always try to
mean?
take care of our competitors. We do breakfast, lunch, make sure they have
Yep.
breaks, stuff like that. I thank them out
100.
outrageously. They're just yeah. There's only so many ideas a person can have like myself, but I know for a fact what makes it happen. It's the support, the team, and
Yep.
those people that can come together and really make those weekends go by really smoothly.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'll say about it too, but isn't it crazy too? Like as a promoter, your brain is in a million places like on the weekend. I'm
Sure.
sure with you it's in a million and one because you have the expo. So you have like all this
Yeah.
other outside stuff versus when you're running a strongman contest and it's like Murphy's law. I always tell people if they want to promote a show like whatever can go wrong is going to go wrong. You just have
Yeah.
to mitigate all that stuff. But sometimes it just takes a volunteer to be like, "Hey man, why don't we do it this way?" And
Sure.
it's like, "Oh shit, I didn't think about that. You're in a more level-headed place than me." You know what I mean? So you
That
can
is
just help me.
that's so great you said that because that's happened to me so many times. And I've been two types of promoters before. I've been the promoter that was trying to just take control of everything and I wouldn't listen to anybody. And I
Yep.
tell you, every single time I've been that promoter to a competition, I've ruined everything.
Yep.
And then I've also been the promoter in competitions where I've calmed down. I know my head is in a different place, and I'll have somebody say something to me, and I'll just listen. And I'll listen. I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, that's perfect. Let's go do
Yeah.
that. And I think those are the days and those are the times where it makes a big difference having being able to listen. And I think that can be said about any good business owner or
Yeah.
any leader of a sorts though is really letting people make those executive decisions. And it's funny you say that. So this year, what we're doing this year at the expo, we've never really done before, is we're creating actual complete chain of command from the top down. And
That's what we have now too.
yep, we have a floor, we have our lane leaders, we have our scribes, then we have our
Yep.
volunteers and stuff like that. And they're all going to have distinct individual roles. They're going to be
Yep.
who they talk to and who they listen to. It's not going to be
Yep.
a bunch of just people that don't know what to do though. So if
Yep.
somebody's confused, they go to one person, and they don't know, they go to the next person. So it's
Yep.
an
We started doing that last year, man, and it took it to a new level. Like it
yeah,
helps. I like have a buddy who does like he handles the Excel sheet with all the volunteers and their shirt sizes and everything like that. And like, yeah, it's dude, it just helps so much. So
sure.
yeah. But
Managing, what is that called? Basically, just setting duties aside. Being
yeah.
like, you're in
Well,
charge of this, and I've been guilty of trying to do everything.
yeah. And I mean, like when you get to the show too, and like not to get too off topic, but we're already there. So it's like when you're at the show and then you have all your volunteers and you show up, it's like, oh shit, what's everyone's role? It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, kind of
Oh,
like find a buddy and like, so adding those like kind of like
yeah.
distinct, like definitions of what they're doing. Hey, you're going to be
Exactly. Yeah.
scrapping. You're going to be in a lane. You're going to be running this lane, everything
Mhm.
like that. It just makes it so much easier.
Makes everybody's life easier. Just
It really does.
if you can limit the things you have to worry about, everybody's
Yep.
happier. Same with me
Yeah.
though. So ideally, I'm busting my ass up until the expo, but as far as the expo goes, when the competition's running, I don't have a lot to worry about. I'm gonna talk to maybe three people, and then they're gonna handle all these other people underneath them. And that's kind of what my role is gonna be
Yeah.
during
Get
that
to
week.
get there and finally enjoy all the hard work you put in,
Sure,
like
yeah, yeah. Or
months
just
leading
be
up to it.
shaking hands, making sure everybody's doing okay. I want to be that guy that's running around asking if somebody needs a water or something.
Yeah, right.
I want that to be the hardest part of my job that weekend.
Right. So we talked about kind of how you started as a competitor and a promoter and everything, and you're also a strongman coach. How
Hmm.
did you, so did you just start coaching people, like taking people on? Because you're with MST now, and like obviously they're
Hmm.
the biggest coaching in strongman. So how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so turning back the clock a little bit. So whenever I was first getting into like fitness and stuff, I would always like go work out with friends and stuff like that. And I have friends come to the gym with me. We've all done it before. And it's just so natural for me. I would start helping friends, or I'd be like, hey, do this, do this, do this. And I heard it all the time. And like, dude, you should be a personal trainer or you should be a coach. And I'm like, dude, nah, bro, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be a tattoo artist. And that's what I was doing at the time. I was an apprentice and I was doing that. And people were just telling me to be a coach or a trainer. I'm like, no, dude, that's not for me. I don't need that whatsoever. And it kind of evolved and I kept doing it. And then coincidentally enough, I lost my apprenticeship, I lost my job, I lost my car, and I lost my girlfriend at the time, all in the same month. And I was living with my parents, and I was like, dude, what do I do? And then I was like, everyone tells me I should be a trainer. So I went and started working full time with construction with my dad. I was doing a personal training course online at night. Before I knew it, I was working at a gym. It escalated, went through the years, went to my first strongman gym, coaching full time, and I started working with Flash just a couple years. We've been, man, me and Flash been together, I think 3 years now. Anyways, started working with Flash with MST, arguably one of the greatest 80 kilogram man ever to
Yeah,
walk the floor.
definitely.
And just being under their wing and seeing how passionate Shane was and Flash was about MST, dude. I have no shame about this. I basically begged Shane to let me be a coach. I was like, dude, what can I do to
Yeah.
like what was that scene in Wolf on Wall Street? He's like, show me a pay stub right now. I'll quit my
Yeah.
job. And that's what
Yeah.
it was basically. And I wanted to just kind of give up everything and really just kind of learn from them. And I have, dude. And my coaching's I've never been a better coach. I've never had a better mental health about coaching too. Because the way Shane has done it, he's one of the first coaches to ever scale the business to this level. And that's not an opinion.
I think he's the only one to
He's
ever
the only
scale
one
to
to
this
have this
level.
scale. We've seen other teams and stuff, and there's a lot of other great teams out there that have a few people in there and stuff. But Shane has taken MST and scaled it to an unreal level for strongman, for how small this sport is.
Yep.
And in that scaling, he's created systems and he's created ways of things that need to be done. And I say this because since doing it, I've never been more successful. I've never had happier clients, and I've never been happier mentally handling all of my clients and all of the workload and things like that though. So that's kind of where we are now, man. And I'm just super lucky to be a part of the team. And
Yeah.
my teammate, I got Mark Felix as a teammate, Tom
Yeah.
Stoltz
See, isn't that
now. And
cool?
yeah, we got
I
some
mean, it's like he's revolutionized it coaching wise. And that's just me looking from the outside, like with his app, and then like there's not many teams where you'll see the diverse athletes that you guys have, where it's
Mhm.
like you literally have so many people at Worlds, like
Yep.
the world's
Yeah.
strongest man, and then you have novice people
Yep.
that are getting like you literally, it's quite literally top to bottom, and it's
Yeah.
like, and he's one of the coaches that puts out so much good information, and he has like
Mhm.
the coaching course and like the like you can get like certified through MST and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's pretty damn cool, man.
And I think I'm crazy about this sport. I think I love strongman, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel the same way about themselves. But if you've ever had a conversation with Shane, it's like talking to a supercomputer where all of the information downloaded is everything you need to know about training systems, and he knows exactly what to do here. And if there's something he doesn't know, he's like, that's interesting, he'll go do research and learn everything there is to know about something.
Yeah.
And so it's just incredibly refreshing. And there's been points in my lifting career and coaching career I've gotten really stagnant or plateaued or kind of just burnt out. And ever since being a part of the team and stuff, I've just been nothing but hungrier, and having people like Shane above me and working with Flash and other amazing coaches on the team and stuff. It's a huge a good. We basically can bounce ideas off of each other constantly. We do weekly check-ins, and we're able to grow and be like, oh, because we will implement things too, and be like, hey, this has been working. So we'll take data and we'll take information from each other and pass it along. So
Yeah.
it's really awesome. We're all growing with each other at the exact same time.
Yeah. And you know what, too? I think it's also a good thing just for the sport because it elevates all the other coaches, like that aren't involved with MST. That just are
Yeah.
like, shit, man. These
Yes.
guys are like really raising the bar and like they're
And
doing all this cool stuff and
yeah.
like you can continue to like learn and it. I think it just brings the quality of coach up in general. Like
Yeah.
I
And
really
there's
do.
a ton of coaches that are coached by MST
Yeah.
athletes. Like
Right.
I have clients who are coaches and they have their own coaching businesses.
Yeah.
And we have I don't want to name, I don't know if they feel weird about it, but we have a lot of other teams that are coached by MST and they're able to grow their business because they're learning
Yep.
from it. And it's a trickle down effect. And it basically it's we're all elevating each other. I love seeing them doing well and we're pushing
Yeah.
each other in different ways though. So it's really
Oh
cool to
yeah.
see for being an individual person sport, it's a lot more camaraderie if you look in the right direction.
That's what you always hear about strongman too. Like
Mhm.
99, we were talking about some like negative people, but it really is like that loud minority where like
Sure.
strongman is such an awesome sport where like you go to a show and it's just like everyone by their Instagram names because we've all talked to
Yeah.
each other. And it's like this crazy big family and it's like
Yeah.
it's really cool, man. So I think like people like Shane have I mean he's the only one that's really revolutionized like it is, and I think it's
Absolutely, man.
a huge reason for why the sport continues to grow and get
Yeah.
better when it's growing. That's the
I
big.
agree, and I see a lot of behind the scenes and stuff too. And I promise you, he's not slowing down one bit, man. He's got
That's
more stuff
awesome.
coming, and it's really really cool to see. And he's always trying new stuff too,
That's
collecting
awesome.
data, trying new things out, and the sport is growing too. And he's very open minded of that too. And that's where you see the difference in other coaches. And I've been guilty of it myself. But when you do something with a client, it works. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this every single time. And with MST and Shane specifically, you'll see he'll be like, oh, well, I used to do this and it did work, but now I do this and it also works, and it's built off of what we did in the past.
Yeah.
So, and the sport's changing. You look back 20 years from now, and there's 90-kilogram men are doing what World's Strongest Men were doing.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
it
literally.
doesn't make sense to do what you were doing 20 years ago and try to do it now and think you're going to get a better
It's
result.
it's the evolution of the sport. We're lucky that we're in the sport at a time where it's like the evolution. Like if you look at Louis Simmons at West Side, right, with powerlifting,
Sure.
if you actually would read his original literature from when he was like started like the original West Side to when he died, everything changed so much. And
Yeah.
like people still look at like the old books, but if you actually read Louis and follow what he's saying, it's like, man, we changed everything with dynamic effort. We changed
Mhm.
everything. Once raw lifting blew up, he changed everything because he had raw lifters at his gym. It's like
Mhm.
that's the same thing with strongman. We're seeing different weights now where like you
Um,
mentioned, like yeah, I mean for my class, even from when I started, like you I could never fathom the weights that we have now, but you
yeah.
adapt to it.
Just a couple years ago, it's funny. Like in 2001, I think 2001 OSG. I think about this all the time because it kind of like keeps me up at night. But if I were to compete now in 2021, I would kill everybody. I would
Yeah,
murder.
no, it's
I would have won first place by probably 20 points. It feels like,
yep.
but I'm still just as strong as I am comparatively because we've all gotten stronger in just 4 years.
Because everyone I mean, the top athletes find a way to keep getting
Yeah,
stronger.
it's scary,
That's why
man.
it's going to be crazy to see in like 10 years where
I don't
strong.
even know. Yeah, it's hard to
Like,
think about.
yeah, yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's just like I look at
Yeah,
like I went back and looked at like old Arnold's and like the same thing as you saying like 2015 the winner like their farmers carry was like 205 a
yeah,
hand.
yeah.
And now like we have our women at nationals doing heavier farmers than that.
Nuts,
Literally,
right?
it's just insane.
I
So
think about it all the time,
me
man.
too. It's
Yeah, I've been
cool.
doing circus dumbbell, and we had that circus dumbbell medley at OSG, and the last one was 200, and I
Yeah.
failed it twice. I couldn't get it, dude. I would absolutely run through that medley right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
cool.
so
And
frustrating. I need that time
yeah.
machine.
But you know what's cool about strongman too? Like the events are evolving now too, where
Yeah,
like
they're
you used to
different.
just basically see like, okay, you were gonna have a log, you
Hmm.
were gonna have stones, and like sandbags weren't even huge then. Like you had like
No,
the Iron Mine sandbags, and that's the only sandbags they
yeah,
had. So
yeah,
it's like I look at your show, like so we look at like ASM that I'm doing this year, and it's the most unique show I've ever done with events.
Thank you,
Like
thank you. That's what I was going. I was
like
trying really hard.
a yoke into a power stair. That's a cool medley that like two pairings of events you typically don't do together.
Hmm.
Um, the press medley where we're pressing three implements and then going back and pressing one away.
Yeah.
Uh, the Zurcher yoke and a sandbag here, like that's cool stuff, and it's new stuff, and it's still, and then you still mix in like blue blood stuff with like a farmer's carry,
There you
like so
go.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
and I like to think you got to owe it to other feds and other places like Rogue Invitational is
I
doing
was just gonna say,
crazy stuff.
you remind like your style. It reminds me of kind of like,
Yeah, and that's where I'm
you
getting it from, man. And I'm keeping up with it, and things get boring. And I've promoted over 20 shows now, man. I'm not going to keep doing the same thing, or I'll get
right,
bored
right,
and quit. So
right.
it's really cool coming up with these new things, or seeing like a log or a yoke into a log,
Yeah,
or
well,
seeing
that's so funny. I was just about to say that because when that event came out, the Rogue Invitational, people talk shit on it.
yeah.
Like, oh, well, is it dumb because we've just never done it, or is it actually
Mhm.
dumb? And then they did it, and it was cool as shit.
Watching it was incredible.
Yeah, that was the one that Hooper kind of like walked through, like
Yeah.
did I think like three whatever whatever reps he done the
Mhm.
log after like a super fast yoke, and it's like, see, because it's the sport of like doing all this different crazy impressive feats of strength,
Yeah.
and who's saying we can't pair stuff together?
I love
Like,
it. And
you
I
know,
love taking more things. And Rainier Classic, the guys at Dungeon, I don't know if you follow them at all.
dude,
They do a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
weird stuff, man. They do a lot
I
of really
think
cool,
I
and they're
think
at
their
the
pro am
forefront of
is
that
turning
too.
into like their pro. I was just talking to someone about it in the gym, but that, in my opinion, is like the greatest show in America that has evolved over. I think they're like 5 or 6 years now.
They
I
pour a
just
lot
watched
into it.
last week.
I've had some opportunities to talk with them and the owners and really work with them on another level though. But dude, what they pour into that gym and those competitions is unreal. The
It's
production
well,
value.
like look at last weekend, man, because I knew a
Yeah.
couple people competing, and I would have watched it regardless. But him buying all that old IFSA stuff, like that's insane. And I mean, like,
If you don't know EFSA, guys, go do your
yeah,
research and stuff. That's very controversial itself. So that's
yeah,
a piece of
but the
history.
equipment alone was so cool. Like
Yeah.
seeing them press that log last
It
weekend,
looked
like
brand new, didn't it?
that bright shiny silver
Yeah.
log.
It looked like they pulled it right out of a time machine, right out of like
Isn't that
2004.
yeah? And it's like, man, like it's crazy because that just shows how much those guys care.
Hmm.
Because how many people actually know even what IFSA is? And then there's only
Yeah.
a couple dorks like me and you that are like
Mhm.
showing our wives, like, look at this like log
Yeah.
from IFSA. It's like so just that they care
Crazy. That
that
shield.
much. I I heard numbers about what they spent just to acquire the IFSA stuff, and I don't want to say it on here because I might be wrong or I'm just speculating, but
Yeah.
like it was more than promoters will ever spend on
Yeah.
in their careers of promoting.
That's
Just
cool.
like
Piece of
it's
history too. A
insane.
lot of people don't understand. Big Z probably would have won more WSM titles if he didn't sign the contract with IFSA
Yep.
and didn't go to WSM for a couple of years. Do you know that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were
Yeah,
talking about that last week.
crazy. So that
It's
shift in history was
it's
because of this
nuts.
other federation that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, and their equipment was cool as hell.
Yeah, it
Like
was, it
just
was, it was.
bright,
They poured a
shiny.
lot of money, and if arguably enough, of course I wasn't there and stuff, but my understanding is that was kind of the downfall of IFSA was because they put
Really?
so much money and time into the production value, and they weren't getting the return like they expected.
Yeah,
Which you think we have a couple other federations that are popping up. You think they may have learned their lesson, and I see the same thing, and a lot of small feds will pop up, and they'll throw all this money into it, and they'll think like, oh, if I spend more right now, it'll just ship right back at me, and that's just not how it
yeah.
works. So
Yeah, it goes back to what we are talking about at the beginning. Like I like to look at what I'm pouring my like heart into and like getting behind is like sustainable for the long run because that's what makes a
absolutely, yeah,
strong man. So it's like that's kind of where I choose to put my money and stuff into that pot, like just
absolutely, yeah,
a controlled gamble,
yeah.
so but we talked about you as a little bit as a competitor, but I mean you're one of the best 200s in the world. And what's kind of your ideas for yourself as a competitor over the next, couple years? Do you have any goals like, or just keep competing or what's kind of your idea as a competitor?
And so it's funny you say that, but no, I'd like to definitely think of myself as one of the world's best 90s right now, and that alone is something to be very proud of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as competing goes, I eventually I want to be the I want to be able to finish what I've started, being able to be like at one point, undeniably, I was the best at one point. That's what I want. And we've spent an hour just talking about all the other stuff I'm doing right now in my life. And the sad truth of it is I love all of it. I love strongman and stuff, but that's what's really holding me back from taking it all there and my potential and stuff though. But coming up, I'm definitely setting some goals aside and really trying to step back in some places or line myself up to put more into training because I'm only getting stronger. And I'll be 32 this year, and I don't even think I'm close to being as strong as I'm gonna be. Thank God, because everyone else is getting stronger too, though. But
Yeah.
goals, definitely want to have a couple more world records. Want to set some stuff into space that nobody touches it for another 20 years. Definitely want to win OSG. Actually, right after ASM, I'm about to slow my life down to a slamming halt. Outside of coaching, photography, I'm just focusing on ASM and training, or not ASM, but OSG training. It's here in Texas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm
It's
going to be
literally in Dallas, so I mean,
yeah, right here in Arlington. It's about 50 minutes away. So
yeah.
but
The 90 kilo class too, like sorry to cut you off, but like watching it at OSG this past year, it's just insane. Like, I mean, I love the 80s, and I think they're one of the most competitive, cool classes to watch too.
yeah,
I really think top to bottom, the 90s this year was
yeah,
because
it,
like I look at the last event and how much was on the line for like that top 10 was so undecided. And
yeah,
the names that got left out of the top 10, like
yeah.
not sorry, like not to,
Oh no, no, no,
but
no, no.
like
I totally understand. Yeah.
it's just so crazy
What
that
I was telling people it's the top 10 that deserve to be in the top 10. There was 18 people in my opinion.
dude,
If you go look at
I
there was,
literally told people top 20. I was like, those all those guys could go to the
yeah.
finals on day 3. That's my only gripe with OSG. And I do think they do such a great job with like the
And I think it
marketing.
should go off percentage.
Yeah, and I just yeah, 100%. I just think it's really hard to find that final 10 with because no matter what you say, and I believe this and I'll be curious what you say, but I think if you had true serum, everyone would want to win OSG, make the finals at OSG. I
Yeah.
think that's 100% for weight class athletes. That's the pinnacle of the sport. That's where all the athletes are coming from all over the world, literally the world. We're having 15 plus countries per class. That's
Mm-hmm.
the world champ, and that is undeniably the world championship. I just think the 4 events in the prelim, I would just so badly, and I understand it's just that much more work. I would so badly love for it to be 5 events. I
Yeah,
just so badly
and
would.
I think more than that actually. So I would love to see the biggest changes I would love to see is a 10 event competition. You're talking about a world title. I
100%.
think we need 10 events. 10 events, of course, stretch it across a couple more days if you need to, though, but I don't think we need to. I think some of
I
the
think what you could do is make OSG a week-long world championship festival. I'm not saying, okay, Derek Owens is doing 10 events for the 90s. He's going to compete all week. I'm
yeah.
saying you start it on
Sure. Yeah.
Wednesday with the
Mhm.
teens and
Yep.
maybe start like the 64s and the 80 kilos on Thursday, do their
Sure.
first 4 events. You know what I mean?
Logistics aside, though, it's possible, and
It's very possible.
it's
And
very possible.
I
But if
think
you want to talk about real world title, though, is what I'm getting at. This is, I think, what it really takes to really test and find out who it is. 10 events, and I think the top 10 needs to be percentage based because it's not fair. You got the 73 class, and how many women even competed? I don't
yep.
even think there were
Well, you have
20,
some masters classes where there's 14 people.
and all 10 went.
Right.
So, and I think the 90s class last year was the most stacked class. I think that was the most competitors besides the open.
Besides the super heavyweight, where they had
Yeah,
50 exactly. Yeah.
exactly. Besides the open, I think it was 90s.
Yeah.
And so, but
You
that
might be
doesn't make
right.
sense. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense at all. It needs to be percentage based.
I completely agree, man. And I do think I honestly, not just because you're on, but you're such a good example. We talked about at the very beginning of the podcast, but you don't even think you're in the finals. You get the call to the finals and you go from 11th to 3rd.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Tied for 10th to 3rd.
Yeah,
So
it tells you a lot. It tells you a
in
lot.
just 2 events, you do that.
Yeah,
So to me, that was a huge eye-opening experience to me where it's like, okay,
Hmm.
and that's is no knock on anyone that wins OSG. I still think I'm a firm believer. Look at the kid that won, and I literally mean the kid that won the 90s this year.
Yeah. The leap.
Like he had an undeniable lead, like
Yeah.
going in. He probably still would have won,
Yeah.
but it would just be so cool to see the 10 events like you're talking about.
Or yeah,
Like,
more and simplify them. It doesn't. Not everything needs to be so complex and crazy. And
you don't need these cars. You don't need wrecking ball. I mean,
well,
we're talking about new events, which are awesome, but to a point, you can just have a blue blood farmers down and
yeah,
back.
yeah.
You can have a simple yoke carry, like things
But
that would make it because like the realistic outlook on OSG right now is that there's not a ton of like people aren't dying to go watch OSG, so it's more for
no.
the competitors.
And
So let's
so
find the world champion. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I think a lot of people can agree though. But I think the effort is being put into these very complex events, and they're not really put much more into the spectators. And arguably enough, I really do genuinely think, and I'm not speaking for the promoters or Lynn whatsoever. Of course, we have our different opinions. Everyone does. But I think the reason that there's not 10 events and it's not stretched out more days is obviously costs. But I think possibly counteracting those costs is putting a little bit more effort into the spectators, putting more effort into
100%, man.
local what's in the area, trying to bring those into it. And if you can't do that themselves, what can you do to bring those people in though?
Yeah,
But
I mean, do what
there's
you're
different
doing with
ways to
the.
approach it.
Yeah, I mean, and like Tommy Lavelle had an awesome post one time. This is probably years ago, but he's like, I'm almost embarrassed when I show my friends I win the world
It
championship.
stands.
We see the stands. That's why I'm
It hurts.
yeah. I almost think some arenas have been too big for OSG. Where
Yeah.
like get us. I think it'd be cool to have like a 500 seat arena, like
And stuff
stands
people in.
and stuff people in
Sardines.
because well, it looks so much cooler on the live stream. The athletes I think would appreciate because all the sounds coming from one side. So
Mhm.
if you have a 6,000 seat arena and there's only 500 people there, it's like a hot
Yeah.
dog down the hallway. It's
And
not.
I hate to say this, but the new one in Arlington this year is even bigger than ever
Yeah.
before.
So I mean, it just looks.
We'll
It
see.
just
We'll see
looks
what
so
happens.
small.
I'm open.
No, and
I'm
I
an
mean,
optimist.
no, for sure. But that's my only gripe with OSG is
Yeah.
like I would love to make it a 10 event. I
And
mean, you
speaking of
said 10.
OSG and the controversial thing, everybody they kind of all bandwagon and stuff about more money this, more money that. And I can't speak for everybody, man. But dude, I don't care how much money I win. I don't.
Nope.
You can give me a high five when I'm older. That's what I care about. I want to tell my grandkids I was this
Yep.
monster.
I
I want
think
to be able to have
people.
stories. I don't. I'm not gonna brag about how I made $10,000. In 30 years from now, inflation that's not going to mean anything.
It's a penny. I mean, literally, like where we're heading. Like, yeah, I mean, I think if you asked every competitor if they could win 5 grand or win an OSG title, every single person saying,
I
just
don't care about money.
give me that trophy. That's what I want to win.
Yeah.
So
And if
I
you're
think
in it for
right
the money,
now,
if you're in
yeah,
it for the money, you watch too much TV. You watch too many movies.
yeah.
You're delusional.
I
Uh,
think right now where we're at, I mean, as someone that can compete at OSG and stuff too, and I don't know what you think about it, but I would love for uh I mean, I would vote for the payouts to go down if the athlete experience went way up.
amen.
I mean, uh, I think every person would too.
Yeah.
Every person. Because at
Oh,
the end of the day, only top three are getting paid out of 40 athletes in the open class.
mhm.
You
Means
know,
nothing, dude.
means
It's you
nothing.
got a better chance playing the lottery to a certain
I
extent.
mean, literally.
And
So,
that's it. At the end of the day, we're all paying for an experience. If that experience that you're hoping is winning money and getting that joy, then maybe you should just shift your perspective though. But at the end of the day, everything we do is for an experience. And I do genuinely think that he could save a lot of money on payouts, but he'd get crucified at this point if he
yeah.
like a cent.
I
Because
think,
all
yeah, I just think you come out and say it. It's like this year, these are the exact payouts. They're going to be down, and this is what the standard's going to be moving
yeah.
forward. So we
And
can,
without stirring up old drama from last year though, but I think if you're not going to increase the payouts, which I don't think he did, and like I said, I don't care. But if you
right.
can show you're putting more effort, into the athlete experience and you're providing the best possible thing, that's all that matters to me.
Right.
And honestly, if it doesn't matter to someone else, all they care about is money, I don't care what they have to think. Because
Yeah.
they're
No.
honestly they're in this for a totally different reason than me. So I can't fathom the way they feel. So
Yeah.
that's kind
I
of where we're
mean,
at.
there's going to be 500 athletes at OSG, give or take. And how many classes are there? Like 12. So
Mhm.
36 people are going to
14.
leave
Yeah.
leave with money. So it's like, so I think all the people would rather just better
And
experience.
you can look at it this way too. You got your friends, you get your family. That's probably the most expensive thing. That's what kind of people bitch about is they fly their family out, they fly their friends out, they fly all these people out to come look at them and stuff. If you could create an event that catered to the whole family, you intensified the experience for everybody involved. You don't got to give me a penny. We just went to
Right.
Disneyland. People spend more
Right.
money at Disneyland for experiences. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
People don't go to
100%.
Disneyland to find a suitcase full of $10,000. You see
Right.
it? You see what I'm
A
saying?
100%, man. And
So
this is what we love to do. So this is our Disneyland. So
yeah,
it's like,
not to
dude,
everyone, not to
yeah.
everyone.
So yeah, man, I'm 100%. I agree with you.
But to circle back around, my goals, man, I plan on. I'm going to be in this sport for a really long time, and no matter what really happens on those podiums, I definitely I'm confident it's going to happen. But I'm going to retire one day, and I'm going to be known as the best 90 that ever was, and I'm wholeheartedly feel that, and I know that right now, but not everyone knows it yet. So I'm gonna stay around it long enough till everybody knows my name. They know
Hell
what
yeah.
I've done. They know what I'm good at. They know what I'm bad at, and I want to get underneath people's skins. I don't mind being the heel either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be here for a very long time, and I'm only getting stronger, dude. I'm still so young. I'm not even 32, and if you study history and stuff, you see some of the strongest men in their late 30s just moving absolutely insanely weight. And I'm in
100%.
the best shape of my whole life right now too, though. So something's working.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Um, I think Derek's doing so much good stuff for Strongman. I highly encourage, if you're watching on YouTube, his Instagram handle's right there. But give Derek a follow if you're listening. It's just Derek underscore. Let me make sure I don't screw it up.
K_O.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you just look up Derek Owens. He'll be on there. And he's one of the great people in the sport. So check him out. If you're going to be coming to regionals or ASM, you can watch him compete at ASM. He might be grabbing an ASM title himself. So we'll
I'll be
see.
I'll be I'll be working real hard towards that. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys are following Derek, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks for having me.